Why shouldn't you brush your teeth with your left hand? Because a toothbrush works way better. What up, YouTube? Let's hear. Thanks again for visiting the channel. As always, I appreciate it. If this is your first time to the channel, thank you so much for watching. If you'd be so kind, please just go ahead and hit that thumbs up button just for the algorithm. And if you enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. Today, I'm doing a real quick review of the Evo Typhoon Harpoon Tanto. Now I know what you're thinking. You just unboxed this knife yesterday. You're going to do a review on a knife you just unboxed yesterday? You're an idiot. Well, you're not wrong, but I figure a couple of things. I handled this knife, not this knife, the Evo Harpoon, the Evo Typhoon Mini a while ago. Carried it around for quite a while and loved that knife. I already knew I was going to end up buying a full-size Evo. Why do I keep wanting to call it the Evo Harpoon? I've always known that I wanted an Evo Typhoon standard. When I handled the minis, I really liked those knives, and I wanted one really bad. But they're expensive, so I figured I'd just hold off, be patient, and wait until the full size came out, which the full size dropped a couple of days ago. And I jumped on it. Literally, I think I checked out less than 2 minutes after they dropped. I was so excited about that drop. But I wanted to do this review today because these guys are still available. And this is not a knife that gets released very often. This knife only gets released maybe every couple of years. And I know, how frustrating it was for me missing the first two drops. So I don't want anybody else to have to experience that. So, if this channel, or if this video happens to find someone who doesn't know about this knife and really appreciates the aesthetics of it and listens to what I say in this review and goes and buys it, and doesn't have to live with the regret of not having this knife for the next 2 years, I'm perfectly happy with that. So let's go ahead and get started with the review. This guy is 8.375 inches overall, with a blade of 3.75 inches and a cutting edge of 3.35 inches. The handle is 4.6 inches long. We'll do some quick size comparisons here compared to the Rat Model 1. The Evo Typhoon is just a hair shorter than the Rat 1. Compared to the Rat Model 2, the Rat Model 2 is obviously going to be quite a bit shorter than this knife. Compared to the DEMKO knives, the 8020.5, is the first one. That's also going to be just a hair, well, I don't know. Those are about the same length. Maybe a half a hair shorter on the 8020S. The 8020.5 is obviously going to be quite a bit shorter than the Evo Typhoon. And last but certainly not least, we've got the SPYDERCOs. The SPYDERCO Paramilitary 2, I believe, is just a hair shorter than the Evo Typhoon. Yep. And the Para 3 is obviously going to be quite a bit shorter than the Evo Typhoon. Let's get these guys closed up to check out the carry profile here. When the Typhoon is closed, I think the Paramilitary 2 is just a hair longer than the Evo Typhoon. And the Para 3 obviously is still going to be quite a bit shorter. Let's take a look at the thickness here compared to the Para 3. The Evo Typhoon is just a hair thicker than the Evo Typhoon. And the height on these two knives, the Evo Typhoon, even when you compare it with the Harpoon Tanto, is nowhere near as tall as the Para 3. So that's pretty good. You got a pretty good carry profile on this guy for sure. All right. So first things first, the blade steel on the Evo Typhoon is M390. A blade steel that is being used basically exclusively on any knife that's over $200 in the knife community today, which that's fantastic. M390 is a great steel. I kind of wish we would start going back to S35VN a little bit more, maybe S45VN. S45VN is a great steel, so is S35VN. I feel like you don't have to put M390 on absolutely everything. And I'm not saying it's a bad steel. It's a fantastic steel. It's just, you know, S45 or S35VN, I don't know, maybe a little bit cheaper than M390. Might be able to decrease the price of the knife a little bit if you started using those steels. But again, that's not really something that's going to cause an issue with this knife at all. I don't have a problem with M390. I do still love the steel. It's just I don't think it needs to be used on absolutely everything. I'm going to go ahead and get a quick weight on this guy. All right, get my scale turned on. Still on pounds and ounces. That's fantastic. All right, so we're looking at 4.3 ounces. Not a bad weight at all for this knife whatsoever. Okay, so M390, we are looking at, for my particular variant, this is a Harpoon Tanto with a hollow grind for the vast majority of the blade, and then once you get towards the tip, you've got a compound grind and you've got a flat grind here at the tip, which gives the tip just a little bit more robustness and a little bit more strength out towards the tip. You've got a swedge here that carries out to about 90%, 95% the length of the blade, with a hole milled into the center of that swedge, which is not functional. It's just an aesthetic for the knife, which I think looks absolutely beautiful. And then you've got this harpoon point here, a very aggressive puncturing tip. Definitely a long area of flat cutting edge on the blade here, and then you've got a little bit of belly out here towards the tip. The pivot on this guy absolutely is running on bearings. You've got a T8 screw here for the pivot. You've got a T8 screw everywhere else. This is definitely a minimal hardware knife. The only other two screws that you've got is the pocket clip screw, which is a T8, and you've got the steel lock bar insert screw, which is also a T8. It's one of the best things about this knife is the minimal hardware that keeps this guy together. And I think the way that he gets away with that, Brian Nadeau, when he designed this knife, the titanium comes together here at the butt, and you've also got the lanyard bar here that you can wrap a lanyard around. So this is how he gets away from having to use standoffs or anything like that. Excuse me. You do have a little bit of milling in the back here. I don't necessarily know that I'd call this jimping, because it's definitely not functional, that's for sure. But it looks nice. You've also got this very, very classic Brian Nadeau pocket clip, which a lot of people in the past have had an issue with Brian Nadeau's pocket clips. They've been a little bit pointy here out towards the tip. But it looks like they've kind of milled that down a little bit, so it's not quite as pointy. And I can tell you it's definitely very, very comfortable when you got this thing in kind of like a standard hammer grip, which is basically the only way that you're able to carry it. You can't really feel that pocket clip at all. There's no hot spots there whatsoever. And your finger falls right on this jimping here on the spine of the blade. It's perfectly placed. This thing is basically perfectly designed. I've been looking at it for the last 24 hours, examining it, trying to find something, to complain about. But there's just nothing to complain about with this knife whatsoever. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to give you a full-length view of the knife up close so that you can just see all of the nice little details. Another thing that I love about this knife is that they kind of, when they mill the titanium where the pivot is, you've got this this area here, this lip that kind of shoots up a little bit to meet that pivot. So there's no, exposed area of this screw or anything like that, and it's just a nice little touch. It doesn't provide any functional value to this or anything like that. It just looks nice. And then you've got the inlays here, which in this particular instance is Arctic Storm fat carbon fiber inlays, and they just look absolutely beautiful. I really love the crisp rich color that comes off of these scales, the inlays actually. You've got Brian Nadeau's initials here down on the flipper tab, and that brings me to my next point here, which the action on this knife is absolutely fantastic. It's really, really great. You don't have to push this flipper tab very hard in order to get it to fly out. Actually, even my wife can actuate this knife without much trouble whatsoever. She can't really flip many knives that I own, but she has absolutely no problem whatsoever flipping this guy out. It's actually very, very difficult to fail this knife, for sure. When you've got it back down in the handle, let's see here. Yeah, we are perfectly centered there, and this is right out of the box. Like I said, I just got this guy yesterday, so there's been no adjustments or anything like that. No blade play left, right, up, or down on this blade whatsoever. It's absolutely perfect in every way. As I've said, you've got titanium scales here with carbon fiber inlays, milled titanium pocket clip. It's running on bearings, and you've got Brian Nadeau's, I don't want to say proprietary. What's the word? Well, he's got his own little detent system that he uses. Let me see if I can get this to focus right, so that you can see there. Yeah, you can see that little lip down in there. He's got that lip detent system, which feels like nothing else out there. There's no other knife out there that kind of runs on this system or feels the way that this knife feels when you engage the flipper tab. It's kind of like I don't know. You feel like a faint little click just before you engage the blade, and then it just kind of flies out of the handle and locks right up. It's such a satisfying feeling to actuate this blade. It really, really is. I love this knife for so many reasons, but that's one of the biggest reasons is the way it feels to flip that flipper tab. It's just such a satisfying feeling. Excuse me. What else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, the disengagement on this guy. There's absolutely no lock stick whatsoever with this knife, and it's really, really, again, it's really, really satisfying. It's not guillotine fall shut, but as you can see, I don't really have to shake shut or anything like that. You just kind of get it to the point where it's falling, and then just the slightest little movement will get it to fall down into that handle. As you can see, you've got a little bit of a click there when it meets the detent. Let me see if I can get you guys to hear that. Let's get this guy so it's all... And it's just so smooth. And then it goes towards the detent there. And then it sucks it down into the handle. Just an absolutely satisfying experience using this knife in every way. Whether you're deploying the blade or disengaging it or putting it back down into the handle, holding it, cutting with it, getting that thumb on the spine of the blade with the jimping there, everything about this knife is 100% satisfying in every way. I can't stress that enough. And the biggest reason that I wanted to do this video was just because they're available right now. And if you think that this is an interesting knife, you think that the aesthetics of this are for you, or anything like that, if you even kind of feel like you might be interested in getting this knife, I would absolutely 100%, if you can afford it, go to DLT Trading. I'm going to link this down in the description so that you guys can just hit the link and go straight to the website and buy this guy if you want to. Another good thing, they've got Sezzle and they've got Afterpay. So you don't have to pay for the whole thing right away. There's definitely different variations available for this knife. I'll read those off to you. You've got the, excuse me, you've got the titanium PVD coated and marbled carbon fiber inlays, which are available in the Harpoon Tanto version, the drop point, and the Bowie. Those are $400. You've also got the PVD coated with fat carbon drop point and Bowie. Those are $425. So this one is available in drop point and Bowie, and those are $425. And you've also got the ones that are PVD coated with just black marbled carbon fiber. Those are actually available in all three blade variations, and those are $400. You've also got available just raw titanium with marble carbon fiber inlays. Those are available in drop point and Bowie, and those are $400. You've got, what else? The aspirated or ventilated scales, which are just kind of titanium scales with holes milled into them. I wasn't really interested in that one because I thought it was going to be kind of a lint magnet. But hey, some people might be interested in that. They've got those in PVD coating in drop point, and those are $375. And you've also got the aspirated or ventilated with bead blasted titanium in Bowie and drop point, and those are also $375. So as I said, I'm going to go ahead and link these in the description so that you can go to the site and buy these if you'd like. I really, really recommend, if you're interested in this knife at all, just to prevent, what's the word? I guess not buyer's remorse. So if you're interested in this at all, I would 100% go and buy it if you're able to. So go ahead and hit that link, go to the site, pick out which one you want, and just buy it. Because if once these sell out, they're going to be gone for at least a year, possibly two, because that's what happened last time. But I think that's it for this one, guys. I really wanted to get this video out there as soon as possible and express to you guys how important it is that if you're interested in this knife, that you go ahead and buy it. So hopefully I've done that. If you did enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. And stay up, y'all. Take it easy. Bye.